So this one's a lot, guys. But let's get right to it. So, from the set of Ahsoka herself, Rosario gave a very lovely message to George Lucas, who apparently just celebrated his happy birthday. I am very mixed on Lucas, very mixed on the Lucas. And I do a ton of stuff with Star Wars on the other channel, but I'll do increasingly more things on this because of Andor and the prequels. And there's a willingness to relook at the prequels. But listen, preemptively, I get it. Some people hate the prequels. They'll always hate the prequels. I was there when this culture war, the real culture war, started between prequels and then the OT and now the sequels, yada yada. I appreciate the prequels for what they are. They're very powerful, interesting, experimental films, but they do have many problems, which that was George's decision. So I will cover George good, but we'll also cover George bad and try to bring balance to whatever the online thingy. Also, not news. Apparently, why they even did this? HBO Max, which became Max, will be HBO again. Why those nutcases lost the HBO, I don't even know. It's like Warner Brothers has made so many crazy, bad decisions with season 8, Game of Thrones, the Justice League. And by the way, I'm a Joss Whedon fan, but Justice League is one of the worst things I've ever seen. I mean, it is terrible to the state. It's funny, but it's horrible. What was Joss thinking? I don't know. What was Warner Bros. Thinking? I don't know that either. Then House of the Dragon season 2 got a very mixed reception. We'll say that much. But HBO's back, guys. Why? Why'd you get? I don't know. So, but listen, I paid for the Snyder Cut and I paid for Dune Part One. But yeah, with Warner Brothers, and again, I'm actually interested in Superman, but I don't know, man. That corporation really needs to do better. And I gave it a chance. I really thought, paid for The Flash, paid for Black Adam. I gave it a shot, but they're still screwing up. But yeah, Superman looks not great, but okayish. And Supergirl, I'm kind of excited for, but I don't know, man. Warner Brothers, whatever we're calling it now, WBO, whatever. You guys need to really get it together. And that brings us to Dunkin' and Egg. Yes, it's real, guys. It's official. They're delaying Dunkin' Egg by apparently a whole year. Although technically they're not giving a real date anymore. So this thing could be coming out 2027 for reasons. So let me do the basics for people not even the Game of Thrones. What is this thing? So keeping it very simple, egg, kid, Duncan, Sir Duncan, tall, not kid, he's a big guy. So big guy, small kid, out adventuring the Games of Thrones universe. It's technically between House of the Dragon, Timeline, and the Game of Thrones. Basically, that's the basics. And you might be thinking, it sounds like Mando and Grogu. It's not Mandu Grogu. George wrote this long before Mandu Grogu. Yeah, it is basically Mandu Grogu. Also, I should have forewarned people, this is not like a real series. This will have far fewer episodes. It is not meant to be Game of Thrones prequel or House of the Dragon Part 2 Return of Ahsoka. This is a fairly small story for George. By small story, I don't even call them novels. These are just novellas, short stories he bundled into novels. You can get through these books fairly quickly. I've read some of it. Sounds fine. It's actually pretty good writing, but again, don't have high expectations. It is meant to be a small story. That is the point. This delay makes absolutely no sense. George was on the set. He's promoting this thing a lot. He loves it. He's seen the early stuff. So, puzzle. I can only assume the obvious. There are just internal politics because George went public with Rian, who was show running season 2, and Rian went public too, saying, yeah, me and George, we disagree. I love the man, but, we had to do things for the TV show, and George was not happy. Many fans are not happy, so apparently there's some commotion back in the kitchen. But George is very enthusiastic. He says he's seen a lot from Duncan Egg. I agree. The early stuff is great. I think the casting is on point. The kid, as well as the adult actors, everything seems to be coming together. Does seem canonical. They're respecting the books. Again, it's a much smaller story, so you can't expect the same budget, but it does seem rock solid. I'm not going to give away the first season. It's kind of obvious what they're going to do because he's a knight. You can put it together. What do knights do in this kind of story? They're going to do knight things, knight moves. That's what they're going to do. He's a knight rider. That's what he is. So why the delay? And by the way, sad panda for you. I know a lot of fans are like, no, Anakin, no. But honestly, I'm overwhelmed. So the fact that I can do a lot of videos on this for a while we wait, good for me because I am exhausted. However, yeah, this is shocking because it is all done. They've shot it. Like they showed the previews, they showed some behind the scenes, they showed us the casting. So this thing's ready to go. I realized, like, unlike other people, no, you have to do editing, reshoots, all those things. Yes, this is not like a ham sandwich you make in 2 days. It's not how TV production works. That said, from what I understand, yeah, this thing is ready to go, baby. They got it on the vault. So why the delay? And I'm trying to read these articles, and they're just saying, oh, it's just what high prestige, high budget. That's the new TV now. This thing's done. What are you talking about? They paid for it already. It's over. So it's not working with their schedule or their promotions. They've already promoted this thing too, so this is really puzzling. I would think this is just dilemmas with HOTD and because that they're paying for way more. So now they got to figure out the budgets for that. What are they going to do with that? The mixed reception, and which again I don't feel sorry for them because the backlash with the Snyder stuff, Superman, Dune. I've seen some of the Dune series. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna finish up Dune. I promise I will finish the Dune series. Do the final reviews for that. But I got to be honest. Like the episode I finished with, like gave me a lot of promise. I've seen a little bit more, not going the way I think they should go. So yeah, their slate is very mixed. And listen. I'm a '90s kid, so HBO used to be the gold standard. I mean, almost everything they did was amazing. Maybe it's not for you. Like I've seen a lot of The Sopranos, not every episode. Again, it's not my particular jam, but I'll do reviews on it as well. Sopranos was very good. Again, obviously Game of Thrones. I mean, it's baffling that this thing was it. It was the 4 or 5 star. People paid for this for a reason, and the decline is just sharp. They're still putting out good stuff. I'm going to give the Creature Commando, whatever James Gunn did, I'm going to give that a chance, but still, can't deny that this has been a bit of a tailspin. And people thought like season 8 was just an anomaly. No, they definitely have structural problems because they've also gotten rid of a lot of good series trying to revamp everything. And again, I appreciate things they did do, like Westworld and them allowing another season. That was great. They made a sacrifice. I give them points when they do good things, but holy cow. And listen, I tried, but Westworld ended in a very weird, puzzling place. I want to say it's a good puzzle like the prequels, but I think it's like a bad puzzle like Revenge of the Sith, bad puzzle. It's like, okay, I get it, but I'm like, but I hope they do just one more season to really close the whole story. But, I appreciate them investing back into Westworld after years of delay. So they have done good things. Right. They did Dune Part 1, although that's really legendary. They did do Game of Thrones, although that was mainly George and Benioff and Weiss, and then they went stupid and crazy and gave all the power to Benioff and Weiss and ignored George, but that's another story. So yeah, mixed bag all around. There seems to be no real reason for the delay, so I can only assume it is a political thing. I don't mean political Trump Biden. I just mean there's internal machinations within the corporation and they're like, yeah, we got to find a way to sell this thing again. And I'm like, okay, I guess. But on the final bit of the news, there's a rumor they may, not going to spread clickbait, they may do Aegon. So Aegon is, and I agree, doing the Conquest would be actually very interesting. Why they didn't just do the Conquest before? I don't know. Anyway, so that's a bit of a hope on the horizon. It'll be a balanced picture of the mythology and what George did. I think that part of the books is intriguing as well as Dorne. I find Dorne consistently intriguing, but I got to be honest, like that whatever moronic prequel book he did, Fire, Blood, Fire, that just is not it. It's typical good writing by George, but I'm like, really, like, who cares? But listen, I wanted more world building and myth making, but still, I was like, this is mostly garbage. So yeah, I'm not saying George is golden, but he's really enthusiastic about Dunk and Egg. He has deceived us on a few things. He has. He's not lies, but he's kind of been a little deceptive. But He's getting the approval for Dunkin' Egg. I think I agree. Dunkin' Egg looks great. So why are they delaying it? I don't know. I don't know. They're not even going to giving a date. So they're going to push it off for 2026. Why going to give a date? Summer? No. Why? Don't know. That's where we are with HBO, not HBO. They don't know what's going on. Neither do we. And there we are.